want to create some Pinterest pins for a new blog post you've just written, and you've gone to Pinterest, you've done your keyword research, and now you have a giant list of keywords staring you in the face. Now, I've done a video on this channel before where I've talked about turning your keywords into Pinterest pins. If you want to watch that, you can definitely do so. But in today's video, I'm going to solve a couple of big issues that my viewers and my audience tend to have when it comes to Pinterest SEO. Number one, they're not sure which keywords to use. And number two, they're not sure how many keywords to use. So I really want to make your keyword strategy on Pinterest super simplified and just get you to the end goal and get you putting content on the platform more frequently. Now, which keywords do I use? How many do I use? Where do I put them? In what ways do I use them? Well, let's just dump all of that confusion right into the trash bin and get to actually creating Pinterest pins. The truth is, SEO on Pinterest isn't just about one keyword or one magical keyword, even for that matter. It's really about using and developing a holistic keyword strategy for each topic that you pin about. And that's the exact method that I teach inside of Pin Profit Academy, which is the keyword clustering methodology. I have called them buckets here on YouTube in the past. It's the same thing. So if you've heard me talk about buckets of keywords before, it's essentially what I'm talking about. We're taking keywords and we're kind of bucketing them together in one topic, and we're then dispersing those out per topic, and we're creating pins around them. By the end of this video, my hope is that you know what a keyword cluster is, you have a better idea of how to create them for your own content strategy, and how they will help you to rank better on the platform. So let's dive into what a keyword cluster is first. A keyword cluster is simply just a related group of terms. Now, I have a really strategic methodology when it comes to creating clusters for my clients and students, but it's essentially just a bucket or a cluster of similar keywords, related keywords, that you will put in your pin descriptions, you'll use in your pin title, you'll create your text overlays on Pinterest with them. You might even create board strategy around these keyword clusters as well. But overall, we start with one topic, we find a cluster of keywords for that topic, and we basically wrap that topic in the keywords from our cluster. Instead of betting on one single keyword and hoping that you are going to rank for that, we are going to bet ourselves on lots of keywords. We're going to go really wide and we're going to go really deep because we want to spread our visibility opportunities as far as possible. Almost like when a bird picks up something in the summertime, like a flower, and it spreads the seeds everywhere, right? Or it eats the flower and then it poops out the seeds all over the place as it's flying around. It is like that. We're spreading our seed far and wide. I think you get the visual. So let's dive into a concrete example for this. Now, you've probably heard me talk about this in the past if you've watched any of my videos, but you know, especially on Google, if you are writing a blog post on chicken pasta, for example, you might rank for that specific chicken pasta recipe, but Google is also going to rank you for a slew of other keywords that people are searching for, that, based on what's inside of that recipe. So when I teach content strategy, I actually teach people to make sure they are creating a really well-rounded piece of content. Well, we want to do the exact same thing with our Pinterest pins on Pinterest. We have one pin, which is on a topic. Well, what all is in that topic and how does it help your end user to do whatever it is they're looking to do in their lives? So if we keep with the chicken pasta recipe example, if they are searching for chicken pasta, what else about that recipe do they need to know? Ultimately, those other things about the recipe can become additional keywords in your cluster. So your main keyword is chicken pasta recipe. That's the core of your cluster. But then you want to find supporting keywords that help support the overall cluster, and those could be easy chicken dinner ideas, because it's pasta, but someone might be looking for chicken dinner ideas. They might be looking for healthy chicken pasta ideas. They might be looking for 30-minute pasta recipes. And they may also be looking for things that are diet specific, like gluten-free, dairy-free, vegan. All of those little tiny opportunities inside of your blog post that help inform the reader about what your recipe ultimately is about become keywords in your cluster on Pinterest. Now you're covering a much wider and a much deeper net with your visibility opportunity on the platform. Pinterest also just recently updated the ability to write 800 character descriptions. Even in the legacy Pinterest scheduler, it used to only be available in the new version of the Pinterest scheduler, which even 2 years out, not everyone has, but it's the Idea Ad Pinterest scheduler if you go to your Pinterest account. It's also available in the original one where you can't do product tags on image pins. Now, you can also write up to 800 character descriptions in scheduling tools such as Tailwind now, because they've updated their API to withstand that. So as you are thinking about your keyword clusters, you don't necessarily have to limit yourself to 500 character descriptions anymore. You can definitely write longer descriptions and include even more keywords if you would like to. So if you're sticking with me, you are now creating an entire web of opportunity around your chicken pasta recipe instead of just relying on that one keyword, which is maybe chicken pasta recipe. That's truly what your keyword cluster looks like in action. So how do you build your own cluster? Let's talk about that. You don't need a spreadsheet or even fancy software to do this. You could just do this in a simple Google Doc if you wanted to. You could use an Apple Note on your computer. You could use a notepad on Windows computer, whatever you want to do. It does not have to be complicated. Although I do prefer to use spreadsheets myself, maybe you don't want to do that. And you literally just need a way to make lists of keywords for yourself. So here's the simplest way to start. Number one, I want you to pick a topic. It can be one of your main categories on your blog, one of your main product categories in your shop. It could be one of your main funnel entry points for your business. So if you have an opt-in or a course that you sell, I don't care what it is, pick one main topic. Now, what is your main pain point for that one main topic? What do people struggle with the most when it comes to that topic? That's going to become your main keyword. Maybe it's chicken pasta, maybe it's fall home decor, maybe it's gardening in the Southwest. Now I want you to brainstorm 3 to 5 other ways that someone might be looking for that main topic related to your content, your product, your funnel entry point. You could even go and take a link to whatever it is that you want to promote and put it into my Pinbot, and you could ask the Pinbot, what are other ways people are searching for this topic, and have it generate a list of ideas for you, and then you could use those to brainstorm your keyword clusters on Pinterest. Now, you might still be stuck for ideas, and this is where you can ask yourself, because you are probably your ideal customer or reader plus 6, 9, 12, 18, 24 months, right? Depends on how far in advance you are of them. But typically we are our own ideal audience. So ask yourself, what does someone need right before and right after reading this piece of content, consuming this piece of media, buying this product? Write those things down as well and do some research on those topics and add those to your cluster as well. Now, you can either go and turn this into a series of Pinterest pins. So let's say you have one blog post about a chicken primavera pasta or whatever it is, and you teach people in that recipe how to make it gluten-free, how to make it vegan, how to make it dairy-free, how to make it an instant pot on the stove, and maybe over the campfire, whatever all of the different variations are. Each of those individual entry points are a keyword in your cluster, and they reach a different target audience on Pinterest. So remember, throwing those seeds out and watching where they land is going to help you to get more visibility on the platform. Now, you can turn each of those, like I said, into an individual Pinterest pin, or you could create a small set of Pinterest pins and you could disseminate those keywords in the cluster through your titles, your text overlays, and your pin descriptions. I would suggest doing that actually. If it were me and I had at least 5 keywords in my cluster, I would be making 1 pin per keyword, with that one keyword being your title and your text overlay. So if it's chicken primavera pasta, that's your title and your text overlay for pin 1. If it's easy 30-minute chicken primavera pasta, that's your second main keyword. It goes on the text overlay and the title. And then you're alternating in those other keywords that you used from your cluster into the description. You're ultimately still using all 5 keywords, but you're just alternating one to the title and description for each pin in that round. That's really it. No complicated math, no decisions on, search volume or anything like that. We are simply just creating a list of keywords. We are using them for all of our pins that match the topic, and we are recycling through that list of keywords consistently. A common question that I get asked quite often when it comes to Pinterest keywords is, how often can I use this keyword? As many times as it's relevant. If you want to use it for 100 different pins because you want to make 100 pins for that URL, then go for it. As long as each pin is a new individual design, I think you are a-okay to use it. Just maybe don't publish all 100 pins in the same day. Don't get tied up in the details of it all. I just want you to use the keywords and do that consistently. Now, I have an example for you, and I'm gonna have my video editor put it up on the screen for us. Okay, so as you can see here, the example of chicken pasta recipe, we already went through that one. So let's look at the next example, which is native desert plants. If I were creating a blog post on, 15 native desert plants, then I could use these other keywords in this particular column. So drought tolerant plants, if they're native to the desert, they're going to be drought tolerant. People might be looking for that instead of native desert plants. People might be looking for things like landscaping with native plants, native plant pollinators, how to design a low water yard. That's actually really popular in Tucson, and it's actually not, you can't install grass in new builds. So they're obviously looking for that. And then native Arizona plants. So plants that are native to the Southwest might not be native to Arizona. What's native to New Mexico or Texas might not be native to Arizona. So people might be looking for plants specific to the state that they live in as well. Moving on to the next example, these were fun to put together, by the way. These are all actual Pinterest keywords. So if you are in this niche, any of these niches, you should definitely steal these. So the next one is vintage home inspiration. You might be looking for vintage home decor ideas, or you might be looking for vintage decorating styles. I, for one, was planning to design a vintage kind of 70s vibe house before we decided to move to the Netherlands. People might be looking for vintage color palettes or thrift store decorating ideas because they are looking for vintage. And the last one is vintage wall art. I tried to spread these out to be both like awareness consideration and product-based keywords, but obviously, it's a mix. And then the last one is Parisian style, so how to dress like a Parisian wardrobe essentials. If someone is looking for something Parisian, they might be looking for something very specific versus something that's more French. So they might be looking for a Parisian capsule wardrobe, classic Parisian style, or they might just be looking for something as simple as like a classic trench coat, not knowing that they're actually looking for something French, but that's ultimately where the road leads them, right? So those are the examples for today's video and how you can use clusters, or what your clusters maybe should even look like. So I would actually look at including awareness, consideration, and purchase style keywords in each cluster, depending on what you're doing in the content. So if your blog post sells a product, it should most definitely include product-based keywords. Now, a reminder for anyone that is unsure of what I'm talking about here, if you go to Pinterest and you search for something like classic trench coat and you hit enter, all of the pins that come up on that feed are going to be product pins for the most part. That is a product-based or a transactional keyword on Pinterest. Now, if you go to Pinterest and you search for how to style a classic trench coat, the pins that are going to come up in the majority are going to be informational style keywords. Now, a consideration keyword, which is something in the middle of the customer journey, might be short trench coat versus long trench coat. They really want to know what the differences are in those two, maybe how to style them separately, you know, before they ultimately make a decision which one to buy. As you might have already heard me kind of harp on here, but as you build out keyword clusters, you really enable the algorithm to index you for many, many more keyword opportunities. Not only does this put you in front of more people, it allows you to be seen by more people, but it also helps you to build authority on the platform. As more people see your content, engage with it, Pinterest builds more trust with you, they want to serve your content more, and ultimately it's going to help you not only in the search algorithm, but the engagement algorithm. You're basically telling Pinterest that you are an authority on this topic when you do this. It's the same with Google. So you should be using this keyword clustering thing on your own website, as well as search-based platforms like Pinterest. And ultimately, hopefully, your audience will tell you what they tell me when they land on my website. Oh, Heather, I found one blog post and I binged your entire website and now I'm in your paid membership group. Can you help me? Like, yes, please. That's exactly what I meant for you to do. That's how I create content. That's how I want you to consume my content and ultimately end up in my paid offers. Not only is your audience informed when you do this, but they feel empowered to make decisions that ultimately lead to a sale. Ultimately leading to more time on site, more revenue in your pocket, more trust built with the reader on the other side of the screen, and more business for you in the long run, which is what we all want. All in all, tell me in the comments down below if you have ever considered using this keyword clustering tactic, and if you haven't, I want you to let me know how you get started and how you get along. So make sure to leave me a comment down below if you need any more Pinterest SEO advice, tips, tricks, Pinterest marketing things. As always, these videos over here will help you.